Did you lose something?
Ha, very funny. I'm doing research on Quentin Tarantino.
Well, if you're trying to find his body, why don't you try looking at the dumpsters downstairs? They're a little bit bigger.
Very funny. What do you know about Quentin Tarantino?
What do I know? What don't I know about Tarantino? He's only like, I don't know, America's top leading director. Well, behind, Spielberg, Scorsese, all the really bigger ones. But anyway, he's still on the list.
Okay, so then why don't you give me a little pointers?
He's done films.
Okay. Quentin Tarantino's breakthrough movie was Reservoir Dogs in 1992. What are you doing?
Taking a cigarette break? Isn't that what all the big directors do these days?
Really? At a time like this? Let's get back to the clip.
You're the boss.
Okay. As I was saying about movies, Reservoir Dogs was his breakthrough role, but he also did a bunch of other movies.
Yeah, like Kill Bill, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction,
Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, that was a good one. Mm-hmm. Don't forget Jackie Brown. Ooh. That was probably his best.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Quentin Tarantino has a way of creating a number of different stories and characters and making them collide into a recipe that involves disasters, coincidences, and even chaos. So,
don't forget though, timing is everything in a Tarantino film. Mm-hmm. He has a way of going forwards and backwards in time to explain what's going on in the film, and he also goes into the different characters and dwells into the different subplots of the film.
Okay. And don't forget, seriously, all his movies involve criminals. I mean, those are the main characters.
That's extremely true. I cannot even emphasize that. I mean, all of his films involve criminals, right?
Mm-hmm. He had Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta. Both of them were criminals in Pulp Fiction.
Don't forget about Uma Thurman.
In Kill Bill.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And her performance was amazing. She killed, I think, pretty much everyone in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you have Steve Buscemi.
And don't forget about Tim Roth. He uses him in almost every one of his movies.
Yeah. So all of them tend to be generally criminals and end up dead half the time in the movie. Right?
Pretty violent dead criminals, yes.
Okay. So, moving on. Mise-en-scene is one of the big things that he tends to do in the movies. He, for example, in Reservoir Dogs, he has such low funding, right, in that movie. That's his first big movie.
That's actually the one thing that really surprised me about that movie. The way Quentin Tarantino can make a movie with such limited amount of resources. He did not have much money at all. In fact, just a little fun fact for you, Harvey Keitel, one of the main characters in that movie, gave Quentin Tarantino, I think it was close to $1 million to help him with production in that movie because he thought it was such a good money. It was
such a good investment.
Of course, yes.
And what he does in a lot of his movies is that he does on-site movies. So they're not filmed in a studio, so you get an actual feel. For example, in The Warehouse, that's where most of the movie is taken, right?
80% of that movie was in that warehouse. And to be completely honest, I think that had to do with the whole funding thing. But did not take away from the movie at all.
I know, but he didn't film in a studio as typical directors these days do.
Yeah, definitely true.
Okay, big thing he does too, lighting.
Lighting, definitely.
Definitely
Samuel L. Jackson in Jackie Brown, that scene where it's nighttime and he goes to kill someone, that entire scene is done at night and there's hardly any lights. The only lights you get are the lights from the car and the lights from the hotel room.
Mm-hmm. And in Pulp Fiction, in the dining scene, completely natural lighting. Maybe a little bit of camera light, but it looks very natural.
I think the only lighting in that scene came from the sun through the windows.
Mm-hmm. So he has a way of making everything look very natural. He's a very talented director.
Of course.
Hard to find that these days.
Definitely.
So, basically, Quentin Tarantino in a nutshell.
one of America's top leading directors. I seem to remember mentioning that before. Can't emphasize it enough.
Well, have a good night.